Okay, welcome back, family. The last week and a half has been full of sagas, but we're back. Today, I'm going to be sharing a story with you about how and why I slept with my friend's son. I know. Okay, let's get into it. So, one time, yeah, I was on a train going to a strip club to do an audition to become a stripper. So, I'm on my way there. I'm going into central London. And I'm on like a little tour, like I'm banging it out, like I'm going to strip club, doing a tour, boom, 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 auditioning. On the train, I noticed two white British gentlemen sitting opposite me. I'm minding my business, they're minding theirs. But after time, we started locking eyes. So they start chit chatting with me, whatever. And every now and then, guys, I'm gonna have to check my audio that the light is on. So we start chit chatting, and the guy goes to me, yeah, like, what you on? What's happening? Where you going at? What's your night scene? And I said, oh, well, in fact, I'm actually going to a strip club to audition to be a stripper. And they were like, okay, interesting. I'm like, yeah. So we switch numbers, go about our separate ways. Shortly after that, can't really say how long, whether it was a week or 2 weeks, but one of the guys hollered at me and he was like, yo, I got a bit of peas and I would like to do something with it. I want a form of like passive income where I put money into something and I can kind of leave it to do its thing or leave it to someone else to run it and generate me some peas. I was like, okay. He's like, would you like to open up your own thing, like your own club? And I'm like, now I'm young. I'm less than 21 years old when this is happening. So this is a big thing for me. Like, I'm just like, whoa, you get me? So I say to him, okay, I've heard you. And yeah, if I come up with something, then cool, we'll talk about it and see what we can make happen. So a time came where, if you haven't watched part 7, How I Escaped the Dark Sex Trade, please go and watch it. Because I talk about how I got involved in the hustle life and how when something kind of kicked off, I had to kind of basically escape and get out of there and be like, mm. um, I am hoping to do a little video just about the lifestyle that I lived at that time, what life was like, hustling, just the day to days of it, basically, almost like a vlog, but without the camera, but just giving you the picture of it. So I've left, you guys know if you've watched that, I left that place. And so there was a short period of time where I didn't really have nowhere to go. So I ended up before or after, I told you I went to my parents for a bit. I think maybe I dropped my stuff there. But at a point, I went to stay with this guy for maybe a week, not long. But before I get into that, let's talk about how, kind of what happens from then, from when I met him. So when I met him, nice guy, chit chatting. Remember, I told you there's two of them. So one of the bedrooms, he was just a bit, I don't know how to describe him, but he was just a bit freaky deaky. He was just on some weird thing. He used to message me mad things. I used to be like, is this guy drunk whenever he messages me? Because he was just on some mad thing. But the other guy was more, yeah, the guy that said, yo, do you want to do business? He was a bit more, he was clear headed and whatever. Bearing in mind, these guys are like in their 60s, so they're older than me. They're big old men, gentlemen. So I'm gonna call him Mr. G. So me and Mr. G have become friends now. Every now and then I check up on him, he checks up on me, we chit chat. He gives me a little tutu advice about life, etc. And then, and I paid him a couple of visits. He had a business, so I went there, saw what he was doing. I was like, nice, whatever. And he always used to say to me, look, if you ever want to come over, I've got like a top floor in the house. You can have that whole floor. I won't disturb you, nothing like that. Just know that you can always come there. I was like, oh, thank you. So you guys know my story. I was all over the place. So there was a long period of time where I kind of lost contact with him. But one time, I was chilling and it came to my mind. I was like, yo, Mr. G, like I haven't been in touch with him for ages. I need to hit him up. Searching through my phone, couldn't really find his number. But I remember when we started talking about business and that, I was actually like looking into the process. So I had sent him a few emails like, yo, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Remember I told you I kind of had my foot into business. I did a little car wash. I used to put on my own events. And so when I was younger, I did. When I started living these type of lifestyles, getting involved with dodgy people, starting to smoke weed and all that, it zapped that life out of me. So I stopped doing all of those things for a long time, basically. All my sort of enterprise spirit and all of them, my planning and my all that kind of just went until now. Now I'm back on YouTube. I'm here. I'm kind of pumping life back into my soul. Basically, that's what this is. So because we had been sending emails, I said to myself, check your emails, see if you can find his email. Boom, found it. So I sent him an email. I was like, yo, Mr. G, long time, it's me. Do you remember me? What's going on? How you doing? He's like, email me back. Boom, almost immediately. I think it was like within 2 days. He said, yo, I got cancer. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I got cancer. I was proper ill. It's been, you get me, mad. But I survived. I'm recovering. And I was like, I remember reading that email, just like, oh my days. Like, thank God I emailed you. Like, imagine, you get me? Like, just imagine I emailed you and basically no response. And because these people, them are not my people, them, I wouldn't have really had no avenues or ever finding out what his status was. You understand? So I really appreciated him emailing back. And he was like, yeah, been ill, etc. So obviously I sent him my message back. And I said to him, look, a time will come where I will come and see you. I'm going to come and see you, defo. And he said, cool, my door's always open. I said, sure. So now, years later, I know a lot of people are like, so kind of when did this happen and when did that happen? And, but there's two things I want to say about my stories and the timelines. Number one is I don't share the stories in consecutive order for two reasons. One is so that the stories and the people in it are not too identifiable. You get me? I got to respect that too. And then, second of all, I group them in regards to topic opposed to when they happen. It's more about what happened. You understand? So, yeah, don't get too caught up in just listen to the experience and take what you need from that. So, years later now, after I've lived the hustle life, you guys know I nearly lost my life on the kitchen floor in part 10. I'll put it up there. I left and I hit him up. I said, yo, Mr. G, I've been through a lot and it'll be nice to come and see you. It'll be nice to come and see you and just spend some time with you because, like I said, white British older man, completely different from the whole circle that I've been involved in. He's older than me. He's treated me like a daughter. And I kind of just needed that. I needed a place where I could just go and rest and not think about nothing and all those type of things. So he said, sure. He goes, I'm no longer in them ends. I'm now in these ends, so you can come. Before he was kind of in the city, living in like a affluent area, but now he had moved more to like seaside type of place. You know how it is when you get older, you want that type of life. So he said, come. So when he told me where he was living, I was like, perfect, because that's what I need. Like, you get me? I need sort of like a beach environment. So I get there, pull up in his driveway. He welcomes me with open arms. He's like, yo, welcomes me in. He's like, takes me to the room. He's like, this is your room, that's your space. Do what you got to do. You get me? Like, you're welcome, whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it was just me, him, and his little dog in the house. I I know that I know I think he had a wife maybe, but he divorced, something like that. So he was like a single old man, basically, him and his dog. So obviously I was so distraught and stuff, had so much going on in my mind. So sometimes I'll just be in the room, just like looking up at the ceiling, and then sometimes I'll be like, nah, come on, get up, go downstairs, chill with Mr. G and Doggy, and just, vibe and relax, you get me? So go downstairs, chit chatting with him now. Then I started sharing with him my story. I said, yo, Mr. G, like, this is what's been going on since, we lost contact. I've done this, I've done that, I've been here, I've been there, this is what happened to me, this is what, blah, blah, blah. And then I left, I came out of all that, and now I'm here sitting in front of you. And he was like, okay, that's interesting. And then he starts talking to me about investments, crypto, Bitcoin, all these things, trying to, like I said, this is it's early days of those things there. He's trying to school me, saying to me, listen, And I said, oh, it's funny because I know there was a gentleman I met and he was telling me about that, but he seemed a bit, so I didn't take him serious. And he was like, yeah, listen to me. So he was encouraging me in that sense. He said to me, look, once again, if there's something you want to do, you want to get back on your feet, you want to do what you've been doing, but like, running it, let me know. I'll support you. I was like, okay, I hear you. So, like I said, I used to spend a lot of time in the bedroom because I was basically having like a mental breakdown. That's just a fact, like or at least an emotional one, because of everything that I had gone through and the way I had to leave the place so abruptly. But that place had a big place in my heart. It's sad to say because that place is not a good place. Good things were not necessarily happening there, but it just shows you where I was, that I was sad to leave there. Maybe I wasn't sad to leave there. Maybe it was just the way I had to leave, and I didn't really have that processing time. Like it would just happen, boom, boom. Maybe it was more of that. Who knows? I think so, actually, because yeah, like I said, I'll do a little story based on the lifestyle I lived when I was there. So I spent some time in the room actually plotting and planning, and that's what I mean when I say I think I was having a mental breakdown, because I don't know, I was actually thinking of doing it. Now when I look back, I'm just like, nah, that was never for me, and I don't I don't want to really do that. And I didn't want to do that because I've been there, and it's like, do you really want to take other girls in there with you? You understand? And I had girls around me that I could have been like, yo, what do you think? What do you think? Are you on? Are you on? It would have been very easy for me. But something in my heart, I guess the God in my heart was just like, nah, this is not righteous. It's not righteous behavior. It's not a righteous thing to do. Um, I'm not judging anybody that necessarily sells their body, because that's your body to a degree. Cool. But I'm saying, when I say it's not righteous to do, I mean intentionally me creating a platform and then proposing it to people that I know are potentially vulnerable, and there's a high chance they'll say yes. Then when they say yes, they'll get caught up in certain things, and it can spiral their life out of control. That's the domino effect. You see what I'm saying? Because you're right. They don't have to say yes. I'm not forcing them, but I'm smart enough to know my role in the whole situation. And it wouldn't have been righteous of me to embark on that. So, and just to say one thing, I told you had a little doggy. She was lovely, yeah. When I come to the house, she was all over me. When I was in the room, she would come and sit on the bed by me. And I think at one point he was just like, nah, I don't like this. Like, I need my dog to be around me. Since you come, she don't chill with me. She's not here. I can't see her. Like, she's always up with you in the rain. That's when I knew it's time for me to start dancing. and and that's why I've always wanted a dog from young. But African parents, dog. you're mad. That's not happening, like not now, not ever. You get what I'm saying? So it's yeah, that was never happening in my childhood, but I hope one day to still get a dog because I really feel like I could do with that. Like that would have helped me so much throughout my life. Like I reckon there's so much I would have dodged if I had a pet dog, definitely, because animals are spiritual and there would have still been a lot of guidance. You know how the dogs are. Sometimes they give you a look, they move a certain way, make you think twice about what you're going to do. You understand? Because when I went to my man's house and I was in the room and I was feeling low, that's why the dog would come and sit by me to comfort me. She knew spiritually your spaces you're not doing all right, you understand? She was like, don't worry, my dad downstairs, he can wait, like I'm always with him, but right now you need me. But after some time I even had to tell her, yo, go, because her hair was everywhere. I was waking up with her hair all over me. I said, baby girl, I can't do this, like thank you for your love and support, but your hair is shedding too much, go back to your dad. So that was funny. And then talking of that as well, obviously I was still smoking at that time. But because of the area he's in and that, he was like, look, I don't mind you smoking, but you can't smoke in my back garden because then the neighbours smell it and it's a bit thin. But he had a beach right outside his back door, back garden. So he was like, just head off to the beach whenever you want and do your thing. So cool. I used to go to the beach and then at night have my zoo, come back, sleep. So one day, mornings come, wake up, we're chilling, and I have met his son at least once before. Remember, I told you I paid him visits 1, 2 times, so I had met his son at least once before. I even had his number and whatever, but we didn't really talk. It's just, yeah, cool, you know my dad, I know you, cool, switch numbers, secure, just in case. So Mr. G ends up calling his son, saying, yo, Dot's come around, she's here to visit me, you know. So the son's like, yo, okay, I'm gonna come through, be good to see her. It's been a long time, it's been years. So, in fact, I think that's when I got his number. I didn't have his number before because I would have contacted him before emailing his dad. Yeah. So, I had met him before, but we hadn't switched numbers. It was just a brief, you're right. So now he's come to the house. He's like, yo, I'm like, yo, you're right, you're good. He's like, I'm good. And then we just kicked it off. Obviously, dad's older, his son's young, I'm young. I'm smoking weed. He smokes. He does all sorts. He's like how can I describe him? You know them white British builder type guys got their white van, you understand, and they're just like yeah. He was that kind of guy. So he's like, listen, come lad, let's hit the road. Like, don't be sitting here with my dad all day. I'm like, yeah, cool, let's do this. So we get in his van. He drives me down the what do you call it? I don't want to say the wrong word, but down like the beach coast, like the shore, I guess. It's not a shore, I forgot what it's called, but drives me down the beach thing, and that's all nice, and the sun's just hitting me, and we're talking and all that. And I think what happened, I had run out of smoke. So he's like, yeah, let me take you to go and grab a bit from my guy. So he's taking me there, but he's like, look, this guy only does big bits. You're not gonna get no 10, 20. Like, you get me, you need to go a bit chunky. I'm like, no problem, let's go a bit chunky. And I used to blow Thai, and but they only had like, you know, them that proper green hard stuff. So that's the only thing I was a bit pissed about. I'm like, I'm paying a lot more for something that I don't really smoke, and I'm probably gonna end up either dashing it, if not, I'm gonna smoke it all and it's just gonna mash me up. So I was just like, whatever, it's better than nothing. So we go grab that. Then now we've grabbed it, our motion's done because that was our motion. Just go grab something. So we're like, okay, he keeps driving around, and then we go to this place. It's like a big field with like high grass. I don't even know what route he took and how he managed to get the van in there. But obviously he'd be going there. So we get there now. and then just chilling. And then he's talking to me. No, I think that's what happened. We were driving, soon to pull up to our destination, and then he pulls out some blow. So I was like, okay. I mean, I wasn't too surprised, like I said, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but I wasn't too surprised. But it's just the way it was just like, and he was like, do you do this? You want some? And I was like, no, like I'm cool. I'm cool. And so, cool. I did that bit in. So we drive, we get to this spot, we're chilling. He's talking about stuff he's going through. He's like, oh my days, I've got this gal or whatever and got a couple of children together, but the thing's going nuts and this and that. So he's talking about his pain points. I kind of briefly touch on mine, but I don't want to go deep. I don't want to think about it. I'm like, I came here to get away from that, so I'm not really trying to chit chat about that too much, but I'll hear what you're saying. So here me and him are in the middle of this field with a white worker's van, just looking up at the sky, just thinking about our lives. He's blowing, and then me stupidly, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me have a little bit. So I have a little bit now, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So the reason why I'm actually sharing this story with you is because I want to highlight some of the things that substances will make you do or made me do. So once I blew that thing, my antennas were gone. So now, that thing, it gets you a bit jumpy. So now I'm looking at him different. Like, no offense, I will never get with a guy like him, you understand? On a normal day. But now, it don't matter. It don't matter. I'm just like, yeah, cool, whatever. So I guess we start flirting, whatever, boom, boom, boom. And go to the back of the van. Boom, boom, boom. Get jiggy, I know. And then it's just like, oh, because now I'm going back to your dad's house, you understand? And now, guys, like, yeah, man, yeah, substances, and I'm intentionally not using the word drugs because might flag up on this, but. And that's why you always hear me yapping on about weed sometimes. I know it might be annoying in that, but like I said, it's like it's a gateway thing, but not necessarily in that way. It just can lead you into certain situations. But funny enough for me, it actually did lead me into harder substances, actually, now come to think of it. And even in this situation, it literally happened. I met with him, I got with him to go and get weed, ended up leading me into a harder substance, which then led me doing something that's like, you're not thinking straight. You see what I'm saying? So you clearly see the pattern and the role that it had. So after that, it was wild. It was a wild day, I can't lie, because we were just moving wild, obviously, because we're on this team. So we leave that place, we're driving around. Then we stop again, another place, jump at the back of the van, go again, drive around, stop, jump at the back of the van. So you can imagine like the madness. So after all that now, I'm a bit like, oh, this is gonna be awkward because of your dad. Like, I know your dad's gonna find out one way, some way. Like, come on, let's just be realistic. And now he's also a bit like about his girl / baby mother or / what. I don't really know what that situation was there, but we're both like, oh, what we've done is not right. But I guess we just left it as that. Didn't make no comment. So obviously I've gone back to the house now, and there's two things that made it difficult for me. Yeah. Number one, the dad knows that his son's got struggles because he's talked to me about it. So I think for the dad, how the dad saw me and respected me, he didn't really put me on the level of his son. He put me a little bit higher than his son. So I think for me, I was a bit like, oh, daddy's going to be disappointed if he hears that I'm mixed with his son in this way. You understand? He's going to be like, yo, like, You get me? Or maybe not, because when he met me, I was on my way to a strip club audition. And then now I'm sitting in your house telling you that I was hustling not long ago. So maybe in fact what would have happened was when he saw me leave the door with his son, at that moment he knew she's already made the mistake. You understand? She's already disappointed me. Whether they do something right or wrong, the fact that she's left the door with him, because I know what he's about, I know what he's like. So for her to even go with him, and she knows too, for her to even go with him, it's like So get back to the house. Obviously, I don't say nothing. I just keep quiet, go about my business, and I never did, never did, never spoke about it again. Nothing. But I remember, I think, I think something happened, or me and him had some discussion, and I think he kind of threw something in there. It might have just been me being parallel, because I know it's like a secret that I haven't disclosed to him, and I tend to be quite open with him. So it's sort of like, do I say, do I not say? But he made a little remark like, so in my head, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. If you know, you know. Like, if you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? It's not that deep. Like I said, he already knows what his son's about. So that was how I ended up sleeping with my friend's son. Now, because of that, we have been in contact, small, but it still made me a bit like, do you know what I'm saying? And obviously, I then had baby boy and all that. I told him, "Oh, you get me? I got baby boy now." I told him I would love for baby boy to come see him and that. So that's something that's been pending, like us having a visit. So I know that's going to happen again, and probably going to see his son again. And do you know what I mean? Just imagine all that, like the son being there, maybe with his lady friend, their children. Now I'm there with my son, and we're all here. It's just all of it. You get me? So I say all that to say, avoid them substances that will have you doing things you never thought you'd do, because the effects are long lasting. Though that was just one day, like a few hours. But here I am years later being like, yo guys, this is something that I did. And I may have to keep facing that. If I go and visit him again and engage with him again, it could be all up in my face, you understand? So sometimes that's how people find themselves dodging people and ignoring people and trying to cut people off because of certain things they know they've done, and they're like, I don't want to have to address that, so I'm gonna have to basically sacrifice everything, sacrifice our whole friendship, our whole relationship, because of one thing I did, which is not ideal. So, like I said, these stories are not about when, they're more about what. So, hear what I'm saying, take it in, and we keep moving. Remember, I am still gonna do the YouTube live. Anyone who wants to come, jump on, share their story. I have received a few emails already. You will hear from me. And yeah, let's just keep moving, man. This is just the beginning. All right, lots of love. Ciao for now.